Now the Bengals, couple of safeties gone, Jessie Bates and Vonn Bell. The Jessie Bates situation is no surprise. Franchise tagged last year. They drafted his replacement in Daxton Hill.
That's right.
He knew this was coming. As long as Hill did enough to check the box that he could step in, Jessie Bates was going to be gone. And yes, Jessie Bates is a good player. And the reality is you got to pay Joe Burrow. You got to pay Jamar Chase. You got to figure something out with T. Higgins. There are going to be positions on the team where you just have to say, well, it was fun, but now we have to go with someone dramatically younger, dramatically cheaper, so we can have a full roster of players who complement each other. We keep our best players at the positions where it's the hardest to find great players, and we just go out and find replacements like at running back, like at safety. That's why I think Joe Mixon is still in jeopardy of having something happen. All these running backs with the 8-figure salaries who are 5, 6, 7 years into their careers, I think they have to wonder what's going to happen because teams that are trying to manage the cap realize that's the easy spot because we go out and we find somebody right out of college and that person's going to come in and get it done. So last year the Bengals found it with Daxton Hill at safety. Jessie Bates leaves. This year they could do more of a hot change with running back with Mixon out and somebody else in. So this is just part of what the Bengals are dealing with as they get ready to give a huge pile of money to Joe Burrow. Chris.
Yeah, you're right. They got some things on the horizon that they got to be worried about a little bit. Like Jessie Bates, I'm with you. Nobody's shocked that Jessie Bates left town. There was an issue going back to training camp last year. He is a hell of a player. He really is. I love watching Jessie Bates play. But you said it. They drafted his replacement. He was almost exactly the same guy. When we were talking about safeties last year in the draft process, before he was picked by the Bengals, I said, this guy's Jessie Bates, right? This Daxton Hill guy. He's Jessie Bates. Well, they drafted him, and now we know why. Vonn Bell was a little bit of a shock. I thought he might be a guy they can maybe keep, up there in years a little bit as far as, veteran football player, but damn, still a good player, good leader. That was a good signing by E.J. Evero and Frank Reich and company there in Carolina. But now I am interested with the Bengals as far as who's going to be that other safety opposite of Daxton Hill. That's going to be interesting to see. But I think the main thing is, you're right, they're going to have to lose some players. There's only so many they can keep right now. They got some D linemen they're paying. The O-line's got to continue to be a priority when you got Joe Burrow, like you said. So they're going to have to continue to invest in that. And then Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Higgins, they're all, those are probably the three biggest priority. They want to keep the three amigos together there. So you're right. They're going to lose some really good players, and it's a shame to see it happen. But, they're still a talented football team.
I had a flashback to the 70s as you were discussing that because there was a time in the NFL where the players never left until they retired or the team was done with them. They just couldn't go anywhere. They had no options. And college was, 3-4 years and then they're gone. 3-4 years and then they're gone. And when you compare that to the NFL, it was less satisfying because you'd have this NFL team that would coalesce and just continue, just like, the Vikings, the Steelers, the Cowboys of the 70s, the Raiders, the Dolphins. And the NFL systematically over the past 30 years is kind of the way college has always been. You have guys for a relatively short period of time, and they're going to be gone, and you have to replace them, and that's why the draft is so important. Draft and develop, and some guys you keep, and some guys you have to move on from. You can't keep them all, and if you try to keep them all, you're just going to get things too far out of whack. It's just not going to work, and that's what the Bengals are realizing. It's one of the curses of having a great team. When you're a bad team, it doesn't matter because there's no one you want to keep. When you're a good team, it's a problem because there's too many guys you want to keep, and you got to make some hard decisions. They did re-sign linebacker Jermaine Pratt to a 3-year deal in Cincinnati. So they kept a guy on the day they lost 2.
He's damn good. He's a damn good line, and one of the most underrated linebackers in football. Him and Wilson in the middle are quite the duo, and they are a big reason that defense has been so good the last few years. Maybe not a superstar, but certainly a big piece of fabric to what they do. So, yeah, you're right. It's good they got to keep him there.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.